This is your wake-up call. Don't take that shit to the grave. Leave it here right now on earth. Start sharing your stories. Don't be afraid of it. It makes you who you are. Why would you want to take that to the grave and not be remembered by nobody? There's somebody out there that needs to hear your story.
Francis, come on up, sir.
How you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
All right, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
Recording in progress.
Listen, we're going to get real intimate and real personal here because I'm going to show you guys how to use your personal story to actually scale and sell. By show of hands, how many of you guys actually have a personal story?
Well, we do, but I don't know what it is.
You may not share it, but...
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So a lot of people have stories. They just don't know what the story is. They haven't did the research to dig down, go back to where it all started and uncover some of those things that we've been trying to hide for so long to bring it out and actually give it to the world. Because what we have to realize that our story is what actually makes us connect with other people. Because we are people, and the whole purpose of this whole life is to connect with others. So that's what we're going to be talking about, guys. How to use your story to sell and scale. Again, my name is Francis Nunez, and I have multiple personalities. So, I was born, in quote-unquote the ghetto or whatnot in Los Angeles, California. First generation American, actually. My parents are from Central America. My dad was born in Guatemala. My mother was born in Belize. And they both met each other in Belize and then met each other again here in California. So I'm Francis the Realtor. I'm also Francis the Life Coach, Francis the Entrepreneur, and Francis the Podcaster. So all of these happen in the sequence of time and stories that actually got me to where we are now in front of you guys to actually show you guys how to do this. So, question, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if you guys ever see me wearing a shirt that says YUMP, or it's a hat that has a finger. Let me explain to you a little bit what that finger is. So when that finger, is pointing outward, but when I'm looking in the mirror or if I'm looking on camera, it's pointing right back at myself. The word YUMP stands for you underestimate my potential. That's where the YUMP comes from. And it also means, yeah, what's up? Yep, I agree, things like that. So when I ask you guys if you guys are ready, just let me get a good old YUMP. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it.
Where's the food when it's right down?
All right. So have you guys ever been underestimated? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes. You.
All the time.
You. We've all been underestimated before, right? How does it feel? How does it make you feel when you're underestimated?
You don't like it.
You don't like it. Why not?
Not good.
Makes you feel like all the work you've done and then they're like, all the work that you fight for and you think you're doing good and then somebody underestimates and you're like, oh.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the thing is that underestimation can come in many different forms, many different ways. Like people can undermine your idea, right? You come up with this great idea. It's like, I have this idea to make real estate go digital and, we can bring agents in. Oh, that's not going to work. They undermine the idea. See, there's two ways to work with underestimation. You can use underestimation to crawl under a pillow and go to sleep, or you can use underestimation as fuel.
Dare them. To me, it's like, dare me.
Right.
Show you.
Right. And it even goes with children, right? Sometimes, like your child reacts differently to certain things. Like you can tell your child, "Hey, you can do it. You can do it, buddy. You can do it," and then they don't do it. It's like I'm giving you all this encouragement to tell you can do it, and then they don't do it. So you might want to try telling them that they can't do it because maybe they may respond better to that. I was underestimated before I even got to this world. When I was born, my mother's umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck, and that caused a lot of complications for me growing up. So because I didn't have enough oxygen going to my brain when I was born, I had like skin complications, I was diagnosed with asthma, and I had learning disabilities as well. So then that led to me going into grade school. Before I actually went into kindergarten, I went to 75th Elementary in Los Angeles on the east side. I was racing my cousin one day off of 80th and San Pedro. And if you know about LA, there could be a big old tree going right here next to the sidewalk, and then that sidewalk starts to lift up. So me and my cousin were racing because I thought I was the fastest person on the block. And I would challenge everybody from big to small. And so we start racing right there on that sidewalk. My sister was in the house, my mom was gone, she's at work. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. I tripped over that doggone sidewalk that decided to lift up overnight. And what ended up happening was I bust my whole forehead open. Yeah, so my forehead was leaking blood. I mean, I had gravel and blood and going in my eyes, and it just had this big old thing right here. So I go to my sister, you know, I'm going to my sister. She's maybe about 13 at the time. And I'm like crying. I used to be a crybaby too. And I'm crying. I'm like, so she looked at me and said, "Stop crying like a little girl." And granted, I had 3 sisters, and I was the youngest boy. I came actually 7 years after my youngest of all 3 sisters. So I was a surprise baby. So as my mother was pregnant with me, she was going through a lot of complications because of the stress. And I don't know if anybody here can relate, but my mother had me at almost 40 years old. So when I was going to elementary school, I mean, I had that mother that people thought was my grandmother. And, you know, all my other friends, their mothers like in their 20s still. My mother's like 45, almost pushing 50, and I'm like 5, 6 years old. So she's come to pick me up and say, "Your grandma?" No, that's my mother. So because I had the complication of not having enough oxygen going through my brain, I had learning disabilities at a young age. At least that's what they told me. But I just figured out different ways to actually maneuver in school, to actually pass certain things, right? I got really good at talking to girls because I realized that they were the smartest ones in the class. So I got really friendly with them, and I'll just cheat off of them every now and then. But now, seriously though, I became a disturbance, right? Because I couldn't focus in school. I couldn't focus in class. I hated reading. I hated math. Anytime they said, "Oh, let's do popcorn reading," my heart just go boom, 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 because I mean I had to read out loud. So when somebody was like, you know, calling me because they know I had troubles, and they were like, "All right, I picked Francis." I'm like, dang. So I got a little bit smarter after I started stuttering and, you know, going over my words 30 times trying to read a simple paragraph, and I just started asking to be excused to go to the bathroom when I know that we was getting ready to start popcorn reading. So as soon as I'm excused, you know, I'm a little troublemaker, so I'll go knock on my friend's door, open it, make a little fart sound, and run away, and then go to the bathroom and just hide, do stupid stuff like that when I was younger. As time continued to progress, I couldn't help but to fight through the fact that I had to become better at learning. I had to become better at reading, writing, math. And my fight to just become the best at it that I possibly could actually got me a college degree. So a lot of you guys probably don't know, but I do have a bachelor's degree in marketing and a minor in management. And the fight to just overcome those bad words and those finger pointings and the laughter made me go out and get my degree as an older person. So as I was going to school, I actually had a college scholarship. I don't know if anybody knows Debo from Friday. Anybody knows Debo from Friday? So through my ability to speak and just go out of my way to quickly tell people who I am, what my background is, he took a liking to me and paid what my college scholarship wouldn't cover.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. So this was when I was at Long Beach City College transitioning to Cal State Los Angeles. During the summer of this transition, I mean, it was a hot summer in LA. When I say hot, I mean everything was getting shot up. And usually around this time, I mean, it doesn't stop most people from going outside, partying, still staying outside and being active. And I was that guy. I was active. I was always outside. I didn't back down from nobody, didn't back down from no challenge or anything like that. July 7th, I remember I was outside in front of my house. My nieces just went inside. The sun was just coming down, but it was still kind of up, but still coming down. It was like dark, but not too dark. And I was facing this way, talking to a friend of mine, and the street is right here. And there was a car that went past the first time. We noticed it. All right, we on it. Okay, cool. Car came right back around, stopped right behind me. 2 guys, one in the driver's seat, one in the back seat, pulled out guns, shot me. Literally this close to me. So I seen 2 sparks come out, one here, one there, one in the front seat, one in the back seat. 2 sparks come out, just like that. First bullet went through me, went through my friend, pierced it through her neck, and it went out. Today I walk around with 9 bullet wounds in me. My stomach, my arms, my legs, my track career, done. Because when I was transitioning from Long Beach City College to go to Cal State, Los Angeles for that track scholarship, it was all depending on my legs. So they told me, bro, you're gonna walk with a limp for the rest of your life. You're not gonna be able to get back out there and do this track thing that you wanna do. It's done, you gotta figure out something else to do. But I wouldn't let that tear me down. I had to dig into that inner YUMP, that inner you underestimate my potential, because there's people telling me, oh, you're not gonna do it, you're not gonna do it. Okay. So I started running around that same block. I moved back to that same house. This house was now marked. They know where I live. They know where they can find me at any moment. Fresh out the hospital, have to recover. I go right back to this house, like, what's up? Nothing ever happened after that. So I started running around the block. People were like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Limping, running, limping, running. What are you doing? You're supposed to be on the bed. I was walking with a cane at the time. So through my persistence and my resilience, just keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't stop. They underestimate you. They underestimate you. You underestimate you. Stop underestimating yourself. I got back on that track field. And I broke 2 of the records that's been there for over 50 years. Thank you. Thank you. And that just shows you guys that you have to use underestimation as fuel. You have to be able to go deep. Tell the stories that you don't want to tell, because there's always going to be somebody out there who needs to hear it, who's either going through it, or that's going to go through it, or that went through it. And that's a connection. So, guys, I got bullet wounds next to my heart, next to my right testicle. I couldn't have kids. You know, it was this close to me not having children, this close to me just being dead. And my whole purpose today is my family, my wife, and my kids. And every time I look at them, I realize I almost didn't have you guys. I almost didn't have a wife. I almost didn't have children. I could have took all of what I was at that time and went straight to the grave, and none of you guys would know me today. Would you agree that the richest place on earth is the grave? Now, if you don't agree, let me tell you why I think this. How many people took their stories to the grave? How many people took their potential to the grave? How many unwritten songs, unpainted paintings are in the grave right now? This is your wake-up call. Don't take that shit to the grave. Leave it here right now on earth. Start sharing your stories. Don't be afraid of it. It makes you who you are. Why would you want to take that to the grave and not be remembered by nobody? There's somebody out there that needs to hear your story. They just haven't found you yet because you haven't given them the story. You underestimate my potential. That's what my whole story is about, being underestimated. Turning underestimation into becoming unstoppable. How do you go from being underestimated to being unstoppable? Being free. My story is out there. I can be as free as I want to. I can dress hip hop one day. I could dress in a suit one day. I'm free. I don't have to always appear perfect. I'm who I am. And I take care of business. On my Zillow reviews, I have 50-star Zillow reviews on real estate, all 5-star reviews, brilliant reviews. I take care of business, and so do all of you. How to build multiple businesses by mastering storytelling. Anybody here knows Elon Musk?
Personally.
You know? You don't like him? Well, I personally know Elon Musk. I was actually mentored by him for about 6 months, 15 minutes, every other Wednesday of the year for 6 months. I would go into his office because I worked for him. I was actually recruited to go and work for SpaceX back in 2011. I went out to Utah to go to, I sent out to Utah because I was doing some crazy stuff, and they was like, bro, you got to get out of here. So they sent me out to Job Corps. Anybody knows about Job Corps? Mm-hmm. Changed my life. I found me a trade. The trade was called composites. With composites, I learned how to build rockets. So I started off with Northrop Grumman. From there, got recruited over to SpaceX. When I went to SpaceX, I started off just on the bottom, throwing out ideas. I was fresh with ideas. I'm like, hey, this is cool. It's rockets. I'm in the rocket place. Oh, man. Just throwing out all type of ideas. Hey, when do we do this? When do we do that? They're like, it's not that great of an idea. I'm like, damn. Yup. But in this situation of YUMP, of being underestimated, I was throwing out ideas, and people were taking my ideas and articulating it in a much better way. But these are my ideas. I'm just not saying it correctly. I'm not using the right verbiage. I don't know what this is and what that is. I'm still new. But people know, people catch it like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to go tell Elon or tell, people under him. And then they're going to report it up. So I seen my ideas start getting implemented. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. Things are starting to happen around here. Dang, that's a good idea. Hey, that's my idea. So I remember one day Elon was coming down the aisle. And when Elon comes down the aisle, everybody pretend like they're working extra harder than what they really are. Because there was a rumor that if he catches you making eye contact with him, you're out of there. Because that means you're not working. Now granted, we're working 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. And it was easy because of the core group that we had. We was hungry, we wanted it. Elon had this vision, we had this vision, and we were just sold on it because he told us the story. See? So, long story short, after meeting with Elon, so much, I started a grass painting business. So I had a pigment painting business where, we use this pigment-based paint that was safe for animals and children. And at the time, back in 2013, there was a drought. I don't know if you guys remember the drought back then. So all of the grass was just turning dead. So I came up with this idea. Oh, well, I'm going to go link up with this manufacturer. We're going to tweak some things, make it safer, and I'm going to go paint grass. It was a brilliant idea, brilliant business, made some good money. And then people start watering the grass again and washing their cars because the drought was done. So I was done. So then that led me back into the streets. So I started, dibbling and dabbling, started trying to keep a head above water. And, just really at this point, I was gone. I was just going further and further. My sister she knew it, she felt it. Anytime I was there, I was like empty. I was empty void. I was in and out of demon mode, what they called it. And she said, June, stop. That's what they call me, June. I'm a junior. My name is Francisco John Nunez Jr. She said, June, stop. Where you going? I said, I'm out of here. She said, no. She said, you need to take that hustle and put it into real estate. You need to take this hustle and put it into real estate and take us further than we ever thought we can go in this stuff. And I was sold. She gave me my own story and said, look, you did this, did that, you was here, you was there, and now you're here. This is the next part of your story. I was sold on my own story. I was like, dang, that sounds pretty cool. Like, that's gonna be a good story. So she paid for me to get my real estate license. Back in 2016, I got my real estate license. And I started doing things like, going places. And I was a music artist at the time. I had a record label called YUMP Yard, in which I was the youngest person on the record label. And I turned this record label today into an actual podcast, which is called YUMP Yard. So, I want to tell you guys something. If there's an idea you had back in the day, and you just wasn't right. It wasn't right. It didn't fit who you were. You might have tried it. It didn't really go far like you wanted to, but it was something you was real close to, like a name of a business, an idea, anything like that. Go back into the day and find those things that you was like so excited about back in the day. Like, I'm gonna do this, Mom, I'm gonna do this. Family, I'm gonna do this. And you started, and then life hits, and you just let it go. And now you have family, you have business and things like that. Go back to some of the things that you were thinking about doing back in the day. And now that you know about business, because real estate teaches everyone business. Now that you know about business, why don't you try to put one of those ideas from the past into the present? That's what I did with YUMP Yard. It was a record label. That record label was booming. We had music videos, high quality, flying out of helicopters and airplanes and jets, and Elon even let me use his airport to shoot a music video. That's how poppin' we was. And then I moved away. I moved out to Utah. That's where I met my wife the first time. So, came back, got into real estate, and I actually met Muhammad when I moved from San Diego, because that's where we were staying at the time when I first got into real estate, with Keller Williams, sitting in a room just like you guys, being told to go out and door knock, cold call, the whole spiel. We moved from San Diego, came here. I went to first team, met Muhammad. Muhammad sat me down, was like, bro, you need to start cold calling. I said, okay. Gave me some scripts. I said, cool. And then we found here, we came here, we found Gabriel. I walked in his door. The vibe hit me. The spirit hit me. And I said, this is the new home. And we set up here. Now, have any of you guys heard of Propray Systems yet?
Yes.
Does anybody even know what Propray Systems is?
It's everything pretty much you need.
No.
It's everything you need.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's basically letters. It's like this, right? We took a whole 30-year career, a real estate career that was like 30 years old, and dissected it. Everything that person ever sent out, everything that person ever said on the phone call, ever sent a text message, email, I mean, you name it, the drip campaign, you name it. And not only did I take one agent, I took multiple agents, sat them down, asked questions, pulled out their story, pulled out what they did, and we put it all on paper one good time. So now we have a 30-year career of real estate in one vote. So this is your vote for real estate. Everything you're ever going to need, every letter you're ever going to need, every email you're ever going to need, every drip campaign you're ever going to need, every text message, every phone script, every video script you're ever going to need in real estate is right here in this vote. This right here will position you as if you've been in the business for over 30 years, over 10 years. Because there's not going to be a situation you run into that you're not going to have a response for. And then also it coaches you as you go, because there's things in this package that tells you things like, oh, I never even thought about that. For example, when you're selling a home, right, the children have to keep their house clean. I mean, the children have to keep their rooms clean. The parents have to keep the house clean. The parents are going through a lot of stress because selling a home is stressful. So they're yelling at the kids, keep your room clean. We have people coming to see it. Keep your room clean. We have people coming to see it. And they're like, all right. But after it closes, when do we ever acknowledge the kid? Like, hey, here's a small letter. Here's a gift card for some Robux or something like that. Thank you for keeping your room clean. When was the last time a child was even acknowledged for keeping a room clean when the home was being sold? See, so when you're reading the letters, you're going to see things like, dang, I never even thought about that. You know, when was the last time anybody ever sent the letter out to escrow? And to say, hey, escrow, this is what I expect from you. I expect for you to be diligent with me, diligent with my clients. If there's anything that's falling through, let me know. You know, it's just things that you don't even think about. So when I say it's 382 letters of mostly things you haven't even thought about yet, it's a coaching system all in itself. And with Propray Systems, I started recording videos because I had to get it out, right? So I started recording videos to teach agents, like, you know, how to use the system and what it can do. And I was also using the scripts from the Propray Systems. And that's what sparked my love for video creation, because I had to get into it. I was editing my own videos in the beginning, so I had to get into video creation. I started getting real good at editing, and then I was like, okay, now I'm getting too busy to edit. Now I have to hire somebody to come in and edit. I got to train them, so on and so forth. And then the edits start taking off. Hey, who's doing your edits? Me and my team. Can you do mine? Sure, let me see what you got. Turn it over within 24 hours. Oh, wow, I like this edit. It's different. It kind of positions me as if I'm a real authority in the business. Thank you. Hey, I'm gonna pass you on to this person. So it just started spreading like a wildfire. And then I have to bring on Josh. Josh is back there. He's the one who set up the cameras for us. And I knew Josh from back in the day. Josh knew me when I was a real knucklehead. And he'll tell you, like, I was one of the ones. And I remember I was doing some research. I was like, man, who can I bring in to partner with me? And I seen Josh was spitting some real spiritual stuff on his Facebook, and I was like, he's talking my language. Most of us here, I believe, are spiritual. Am I correct? Yes. I think that's why we connect so well. But when have you ever told your spiritual side to connect with other people outside of this office? Who else knows you're spiritual? Who else knows you like fitness? You gotta start telling your story. You have to start connecting with people out there, because that's what's going to have them really come to you. When you close a deal and then you close another deal with the same person, you close another deal with the same person, by the time you close your third deal with that one client, they know you better than your own family do. So why not just give them the story from the beginning and let them bring them in closer earlier? So I created this business called FJN Editing Services, where we'll literally go out, we'll record you for about 2 hours, we'll chop up all of your videos, we'll send them right back to you within 10 days, and we'll have you good for the whole month. And we'll post all your videos, interact with your clients in the comments, interact with people in your DM. We do everything for you. All we need is 2 hours a month from you guys, and we'll shoot a month worth of content, high quality content. And we're always coming up with new ways to edit. And we're always doing market research. And we're always looking at your analytics to see what works and what doesn't. So if anybody's ever interested in that, let me know, I got you. So the brand, see this finger again? I've been wearing it a lot, haven't I? I have a book coming out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the book is actually going to be telling my story in detail. But at the same time, it's also going to be showing those who are reading the story how to tell their own story, how to sell with their story, and what their story can do for them and the world. So if you see me wearing this YUMP on my shirt, I've been branding this whole time. When you see me wearing that finger on the hat, I've been branding this whole time. So that when the book comes out, you're already familiar with it. We have a website too. We just launched today, as a matter of fact. Been working on a website for quite a while. Thank you, thank you. And we just launched today. Anything you guys ever want in regards to what I can offer, you go straight to the website and it's there. So what is a brand? So a brand is basically the perception that people have about you, right? So how do you give your brand out? How do you let people know who you are, what you do, and what it is that you are an expert in? Starts with storytelling. Because we can shoot real estate videos all day long. Guess what? Those become skippable really, really, really quick. Hey guys, just close, skip. Just enter and scroll, skip. It's skippable content. So how do you make content that stick? By giving your story a little bit. And here's the kicker, right? I've been talking about your story, your story, your story. It doesn't always have to be a story. It could be somebody else's story. It could be a client's story. It can be a story that, hey, guys, listen. Okay, look. All right, let me start this one over, because we need a hook, right? We need a hook, right?
Yeah.
I just spent $1,200 on a refrigerator for my client. Oh my, that really hit. Why did I have to spend that much money? Because I forgot to look at the contract and I didn't realize that the buyer checked refrigerator on the contract. So I did a great deed, guys. I bought my clients a $1,200 refrigerator. They're happy with it. I'm happy. I mean, hey, mistakes happen, but if you want a $1,200 refrigerator, let me know. You know, so that's a story. It's a story that happened, and you're giving it to the world. You're giving it to the people. It's a little comedic, so hey, now that's funny. Are you really gonna give me no, I'm not really gonna give you a $1,200, refrigerator. But it was a catchy thing where it's not skippable. Oh, by the way, we just closed escrow. Like, that's how you tell people you close escrow. Start off with a story first, and then tell them you close escrow. Make sense?
Yeah.
So as I'm talking, does anybody have stories?
Yeah.
You have stories?
Yeah.
Everybody has stories, right? I can't remember you saying you didn't have stories at first. We're going to bring some stories out of you, too.
You don't want to hear my story.
I do want to hear your story. There's people out there that want to hear your story.
I'll be like, look, where we're going. I fucked up and I had to pay $1,200.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. Always remember, whenever you start your video, start it with a hook. All right? Start it with a hook. You know what I mean? I stubbed my toe this morning and I have a bleedy big toe. You really don't want to see it unless you really want to see it. But listen, guys, we're about to go over here and door knock today. You know, we're going to door knocking today. So I want you guys come along and follow us for this door knocking. You know what I mean? Just something crazy, something simple. But you have to catch them for the first 3 seconds or so they're going to... Like, we're getting more and more used to this than this, which is liking and commenting. We're getting more used to just scrolling through. And if you even, like, realize your own social media, you're going to catch yourself scrolling through stuff. And you don't, social media these days, but the way the algorithm works, you don't even see your friends anymore on your feed. No, you see all type of crazy stuff, cats and dogs and, people running and fighting and all type of crazy stuff, because that's what the algorithm thinks you're into. And you keep feeding, because although you might not want to see it, you're going to stop and watch it because it catches you. And then you might see your friend post something, but you're going to skip that. So how do we trigger that? You got to catch them. So build credibility with your stories, guys. Like, although you might feel like nobody wants to hear it or something you don't want to tell, it's strong. You have to be consistent with it. How do you stay consistent? Shoot some content in one day and then post it over the next 30 days. It's that simple. Tell your story, sit down in front of a camera, tell your story, break that story down into maybe 12, 15 videos, and then schedule it to be posted. And while it's being posted every other day, every 3 or 4 days, you're coming in, you're shooting real videos with your phone in your car while you're walking, while you're jogging, while you're doing spin classes, while you're cleaning up the children's room, you're giving them that real deal. But you already have 15 pre-recorded videos that's going to be going in between all of that. So pre-record your content if you want to stay consistent. So how do you build your brand as a real estate agent? That's the tricky one, right? Because so many people out there that's doing crazy stuff. How do you fall in there but still keep yourself who you are? You right? Yeah. Incorporate your children, incorporate your faith, incorporate everything that you have going around you. Use your life as a reality show and incorporate that into your real estate business. Use your life as a reality show and incorporate that into your real estate business. I just seen a video the other day when somebody was mad about the exit on Highland. There's too many bums over here, right? My wife works off of Highland. She works at Patton Hospital. And she was talking about, oh man, all right, I'm getting ready to go to work. I'm like, watch out for that exit off of Highland. She's like, no, I seen the video. Some girls talking about, the exit off of Highland. I was like, hey, that's my homegirl. I'm like, do you follow her? She's like, no, I don't follow her. It just popped up on my feed somehow. Because she exits off of Highland. The algorithm knows she exits it off of Highland, and it fed her my homegirl video. But that was an experience. That was a story. Guys, what's going on with Highland right now? I'm driving down Highland, about to go show some clients. You can see my clients right here in the back. That was perfect. That's a story. So when I say story, I don't mean, like the sad, sobby stories all the time. A story could be like a small little story here and there, just for things you're going through on a day-to-day basis. Use your life as a reality show and use that reality show to incorporate that into your real estate business. If you're going to the gym every day, I want to see it. What time you waking up? I want to see it. What are you reading? I want to see it. Where you taking, where you taking your trips to? I want to see it. And then sprinkle in some real estate stuff there too, because I might want to buy it from you, because I relate to you. Oh, you like that car? I like that car too. What kind of car? You drive a Tesla? I drive a Tesla too. You go to that nail salon, I go there too. Just don't post when you're actually there. Post after you leave. Yeah, you don't want no stalkers and stuff like that. Always post after you leave the spot. So basically guys, showcase your expertise, share your story, consistency across all channels, and consistency delivers value. Constantly deliver value. So the YUMP framework, YUMP, I told you guys it stands for You Underestimate My Potential. But in this case right here, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. So when it comes to telling your story under the YUMP framework, I want you to remember this. Y stands for your origin story, where it all started. You go down deep, right? Because I wrote this book, I had to go in deep places I never wanted to go. I had to go in deep places I've been trying to hide my whole life. But the thing is that when people meet me, they only see who I am today. They don't see what I went through to get to where I am today and become the person I am today. And the same thing with you guys. When I see you guys, I see a body. I don't see the story behind it. Show me the story behind it. Show me the story behind who you are. Show me the story behind who you are, who you are, who you are. You have an incredible story, girl. I've been watching your channel for the last couple of years, waiting for you to just give it to me all the time. You have an incredible story. What are you afraid of? Being judged? These people are people just like you. Who cares if they judge you? They're going to scroll through and go judge the next person right after they judge you.
Or copy you.
Who cares if they copy you? They can't copy you. They can't copy you. They can't copy you. You got your own story. How can they copy your story? That's what makes you so different. What makes you different as a realtor? Your story.
Your story. Yeah.
Utilize your story as a title person, as a coffee person, as a mortgage person, as a broker. Utilize your story. You're not the only one going through hardship. You're not the only one going through hard stuff. Like, people out there need to relate to that. So they know you regular. You're human too. But you still take care of business. Look at the reviews. Share the reviews every now and then. Oh, hey, guys, just got another 5-star review. Da, da, da. You know what I mean? But we're out here working out, doing cool things with the family, things that we love to do. Understand your client's struggle. Ask questions. Selling is asking, selling isn't telling. So you have to ask questions. Hey, where did you go to school? Oh, I went to school at so-and-so elementary. Girl, stop playing. But how would you have known that if you didn't ask the story? I mean, if you didn't ask the question. Now that you know that they went to the same elementary school as you have a story. Hey, I had Miss Pyramid. Who'd you have? Oh, I had Miss Sanchez. Oh, cool. You know, and you just start relating that way. You have to ask questions to see what part of your story is going to relate to their answer. Make sense?
Yeah.
Selling is asking. Selling is not telling. You don't just tell them, oh, how to buy a house. You ask them what kind of house they want to buy. And then you give them stories of other people who went through the same process that they're going through, and you give them the story because it doesn't always have to be yours. Huh?
Oh,
Here's a question.
So yeah, encountering like stories that are both good and bad, or something that we've dealt with like a client, how would you post about that? Obviously you want to change names or not use their names, or like what if they come across it and it's something like negative, or like how do you?
Well, yeah, well, don't say their name.
Yeah.
You know, give it general, you know, like just a general description of what happened, because in most cases, you're not only just going to connect with new buyers and sellers, you're going to start connecting with other realtors too. Because just because you're telling this particular story, it doesn't necessarily mean, I mean, if it's something so specific where it's like, okay, this one's specific, and if they come across it, they gonna know.
That just closed.
Got you. Maybe just wait a little bit. Maybe wait like 6 months or so to release that one. You know, but in the meantime, tell some other ones. Since you already have it in your mind, I don't want to don't just focus on this bad story. Focus on some of the good ones too. And prepare yourself and practice on telling the good stories before you get to that one, or build it all up and see it. Guys, come to the next one come watch the next story next Tuesday, and come watch the next one on the following Tuesday, because we're getting up to the big one. Yeah. So keep teasing them, right? Keep teasing them with these stories and let them know that, hey, we're getting up to the big one though. You know, so there's different ways to just, you know, position it. And what I'm trying to say is, when you give like good stories of things that happen in transactions, not only are you going to relate to or even teach other buyers, hey, let's not do this, sellers, let's not do this, but you're also going to relate to the agents and say, I went through that too. I went through that too. And that's what you want. You know, you want people to say, I went through that too, or you want people to learn and say, well, thanks for sharing that, so I don't go through that, right? So make an emotional connection. You guys have some really emotional, sad stories. I can see them in your eyes. But why are you guys hiding them? It's therapy too, a little bit. You know, when you share your story, it's a little therapy. And it's freedom. Just let it out. Granted, you have to be a good judge of what you want to let out, because once it's out, it's out.
Yeah.
And the thing is that with giving your story and giving people these type of things, it's like you're giving them the hook to hang you with at the same time.
Yep.
But who cares? It's your story, it's your life. How are you going to connect with other people through your story? Not everybody's going to be going through your page and say, I'm going to use that and go make a YouTube video about it. You know, just give your story, guys. It's so much freedom in just letting it all out. But granted, some things you can keep. So position yourself as the guide, not the hero, right? So when you're selling, you're not positioning yourself as, okay, guys, look, I'm going to get you through a lender. You're going to get pre-approved. You know, once we get our offer accepted, you're going to have 3 days to submit your EMD. Like, how do you tell that in the story? Hey, listen. You got about a 680 credit score. Don't worry, I work with clients just like that. You know, what I did in previous situations, I just got them in contact with my lender. My lender was able to speak to them and walk them through some credit repair things. And honestly, my lender could have got them approved at 680. I mean, it was incredible what he was able to do for these past clients I just had. Listen, once we get your pre-approval, what's going to happen is, I always tell my clients this, you're going to have 3 days to submit an EMD. Well, what's an EMD? I actually have to explain this to somebody and break it down to them. So an EMD, I'm going to tell you, just like I told my last client, is an earnest money deposit. Okay, so just tell it like that, like just like I told my last client, or like this person did this. Escrow had a situation when it was like this. Just tell it in a story form instead of saying, this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do next, then this, then that's boring. How are you gonna connect with them? You need them to ask questions, and you need to be able to ask them questions so you can pull out their part of the story that your part of the story is going to mesh with. And then even if you do mess up during the transaction, they're going to look over that because they connect with you through your story. As you can tell, story selling instead of storytelling is the way we want to go from 2025 and up. Because the other stuff is just boring. And even that hard sales, you have to do it this way, I'm walking away. Nah. You can be articulate in your story, and you can persuade somebody to think the right way through your story. And they always remember, it doesn't always have to be your story. It can be a story of a past client or someone else, an agent right next to you that told you their story. You can tell it to a client and say, hey, I had an Asian friend that went through this. This is what they ended up doing at this situation, and tell it that way. So always figure out a way to tell the story and to sell in order for you to scale. So in person, how do you tell your story? When you meet somebody, hey, my name is Francis Nunez. I've actually been a broker for about 3 years now. It's funny because the only reason I even ended up getting my broker license is because me and my boy Muhammad had a bet on who can do it faster, and I ended up, winning, of course. So, like just tell things in a story, right? So that's how you do it in person. What about you? What do you do? Oh, well, I'm a garbage man. Oh, really? What part of the city do you really do garbage pickup in? Oh, wow, that's crazy. I have an auntie that lives in that area too. I actually went to go see her not too long ago. She was doing real well. Got this cute little puppy. I don't know if you ever seen that puppy. It always runs around and gets loose all the time, and it's on the Ring camera all the time. People saying, hey, whose puppy is this? So, like that's just a quick example, but just tell stories and ask the question to see what part of your story is going to connect with that answer. On social media, you take 2 hours out of the whole month, shoot for about 30 to 45 minutes, and break those up to about 30-second content clips of telling your story. And then again, you just mix in some real stuff in between. Going to the gym, what book are you reading, counting your macros, what time are you waking up, what time are you going to sleep, what's the night routine for the children, you know what I mean? Things like that. Just talk about it, be about it. And before I get out of here, just got to ask again. Do anybody here have stories?
Yes. Yes.
Does it have to be your own story?
No.
Is it better to tell a story than not tell a story?
No.
You'd rather tell a story, right? It's a little bit more better of a connection, right? If I was to ask you, where do you start right now with even figuring out which story to tell? What would you guys say?
I would just say your day. I mean, I think for me, it would be like, sometimes I'm embarrassed to share, but it's funny how you said that the other day. I was like, who cares about this? But I wasn't being negative. I was just like, I've been to 32, or I've been in, my daughter's 16? My 18. I've been to 18 school pickups, and this by far is the weirdest one, not the worst. I didn't want to negative it, but I said the weirdest one. Like, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you parking this? I got like 3,000 views on that, and all the moms, like moms that I don't even know who these moms are. Like, really? Right? Oh my gosh, that's what I thought. I just want to get up and grab my kid and then come back to my car. I mean, they just kept going and going.
Right.
I couldn't like stop it. They were like, I met a lot of people in there, but it was just, I was talking about the school parking lot. It wasn't like the Highland, so just sharing. I think where I'm going to start is just share the random things. I've been connecting both my accounts, and I feel like it's been getting like, oh, I didn't know you did that. Like a lot of clients that were on the business account were like, where do you do what? And then, like, so connecting, like if you have two, connecting them. I mean, or like for me, like I'm going to use Vero as an example. I didn't know that she had another business, and now I'm super excited because she has like a business of like events. And I didn't even know where to start with my daughter, and I like for her graduation, and I know Vero does events. So it's kind of cool because it's like she mentioned it and she brought that, so I didn't know that about her, so it was really cool. Yeah. That's just something that for me it was like, oh, I didn't know that about her. That's really cool.
I like that. And she said something very, very key. And this is something I want to speak about on this part of the slide. Okay, you make a random video about some random stuff that just happened. Now your page is blowing up. You actually went viral. Now you have comments, you have likes. What do you do now to get the business? Okay, now, for example, you just made a post about school pickup and why is it so different than any of the other ones you went in. All right, you can talk to ChatGPT now. ChatGPT, I just made a viral video about school pickups and why is it so different now? How do you convert this into real estate sales? I want you to create a 3-part DM messaging system that's going to help me that's going to help me target the people who like my comment, or excuse me, who like my video, the people who commented on my video, and start the conversation to eventually get them to see if I'm the right agent for them. ChatGPT create 3 different scenarios that I can just copy and paste into my DMs for this. Boom. Now you take the people who liked your video, the people who commented your video, you copy the first initial conversation starter from ChatGPT, you put it into the DM, boom, you get the, hey, girl, I seen you like my message, I seen you like my post, do you go through the same thing too? Yeah, I do go through the same thing. Then you paste the second one after her response. Oh, that's incredible. I was actually on my way to a real estate open house. I sell real estate. Oh, you do? Oh, that's cool. I wasn't really looking for real estate. Post the third one. Oh, I can appreciate that. If there's anybody you know that is looking for real estate to buy, sell, or invest, please feel free to follow me and refer me. And then boom, you have a new client or a potential client. And that's how you use random stories to get real estate business.
What was the prompt? How did you start that off?
For her specifically, I said, hey, ChatGPT, I'm gonna give you one though. So for you, hey, ChatGPT, I just hired someone to come in and clean out my closet and reorganize my my son's space. I just posted a video. I got a lot of engagement, a lot of likes, and a lot of comments. How do I use the engagement from this video? How do I use the engagement for this video to let them know that I sell real estate? And then it says, give me 3 different steps to convert them into a real estate lead. And then it's going to give you 3 different steps. You just copy the first one, boom. Conversation starts going. Copy the second one, boom. Conversation. Third one, boom. And then you tell them to follow. Or if they know anybody else who's looking to invest, sell, or buy, let me know. So you use random stuff like that. Put it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to spit out the script. Boom. You're good. Probably right on time or right over time. If you guys want to connect with me, again, this is my website. Anything I do, listen. If it's video creation you need, let me know. I mean, I started the whole appraise system thing, then I ran it into my video creation thing, and I can help all of you guys very promptly. My team is very large, our team is very sufficient, and we're very quick as well. So if you need video editing, let me know. If you need access to the appraise systems, if you want free templates just to see how it works, let me know. Go here, you can get in contact with me for anything that I have. If you have anybody who you think will be a good guest for the YUMP podcast, let me know. You can go here. If there's any speaking events that's coming up in the near future, you can book it here. So anything that I have to offer is right here, guys. Thank you for your time. I love you all.